Students, this is slide 2 about cultural studies. Modern cultural studies has a double ancestry. First, from French structuralism of the 1960s, which treated culture as a series of practices whose rules or conventions should be described. The other source of contemporary cultural studies is Marxist literary theory in Britain. The work of Raymond Williams, Culture and Society, written in 1958, and I would suggest that you should read this book by Raymond Williams. The title of the book is Culture and Society. By reading this book, you will be in a position to understand so many things related to culture and society or cultural studies. Richard Hoggart, The Uses of Literacy, written in 1957. This book should also be read by you, and if you do that, so many things will be clear to you. Sought to recover and explore a popular working class culture that had been lost sight of was a culture identified with high literature. Point 2. Culture as an expression of the people and culture as imposition on people has been crucial to the development of cultural studies, first in Britain and then elsewhere. Point number 3. The concept of interpretation comes from French Marxist theorist Louis Althusser. Point 4. Cultural studies asks how far we are manipulated by cultural forms and how far or in what ways we are able to use them for other purposes, exercising agency as it is called. Slide 3. Cultural studies dwells in the tension between the analyst's desire to analyze culture as a set of codes and practices that alienates people from their interests and creates the desires that they come to have, and on the other hand, the analysts wish to find in popular culture an authentic expression of value to show that people are able to use the cultural materials foisted upon them by capitalism and its media industries to make a culture of their own. Popular culture is made from mass culture. Popular culture is made from cultural resources that are opposed to it, and thus is a culture of struggle, a culture whose creativity consists in using the products of mass culture. Slide 4. Now the relationship between the cultural studies and literary studies is a complicated problem. In theory, cultural studies is all-encompassing. Shakespeare and rap music, high culture and low culture, culture of the past and culture of the present, but literary studies has never been unified around a single conception of what it was doing, traditional or otherwise. Literary studies has been a contentious and contested discipline. Students, you know that on slides we cannot record everything related to a subject, but important points have been recorded. You should read these points carefully, and then if a question arises, please call me. The other thing is that when we are in a class sitting face to face, then so many things arise and so many questions are addressed. Students' queries are addressed by the teacher. On the spot, so many things arise. You should remember. And when this is done, in the classroom, then the whole of the topic is addressed, in a holistic manner. But when we are reading some subject online, then so many complications remain. But I will ask you to call me or send me an email so that I may try to address the issues that you are faced with. Thank you. What is Literary Theory? Topic 2, Literature and Culture Studies. Professors of French writing books about cigarettes or Americans' obsession with fat, Shakespeareans analyzing bisexuality, experts on realism working on serial killers. What is going on? What all these things are about? What these things that have been referred to import? Let us try to analyze these points as much as we can. What is happening here is cultural studies. All the points that have been written about, they are related to culture, and underneath we have tried to address these points. A major activity in the humanities in the 1990s, some literature professors may have turned away from Milton to Madonna, from Shakespeare to soap operas, abandoning the study of literature altogether. How does this relate to literary theory? Theory has enormously enriched and invigorated the study of literary works. If you have to say what literary theory is, the answer would be something like signifying practices, the production and representation of experience, and the constitution of human subjects. In short, something like culture in the broadest sense, and it is striking that the field of cultural studies as it has developed is as confusingly interdisciplinary and as difficult to define as theory itself. One could say that the two go together. Theory is the theory and cultural studies the practices. Cultural studies is the practice of what we call theory. Work in cultural studies is in fact deeply dependent on the practical debate about meaning, identity, representation, and agency.